It is my pleasure also to welcome you to this important, broad-based Black Economic Empowerment Summit. The country is marking 10 years since the passing of the Broad-Based Black Economic Empowerment Act and the implementation of that law. There have been successes and there have also been challenges. This summit is intended to reflect on what has worked and that has not, so that we can forge ahead towards building a truly inclusive economy in which the Black majority participates fully as owners and managers. In 1994, we inherited a racial economy whose capacity to grow was severely constrained by the exclusion of the majority. We knew that transformation was not going to happen by osmosis. Declarations had to happen through the effective implementation of transformative policies. We pride ourselves on having sound economic transformation policies. Our approach to economic transformation is informed by the historical principles espoused in the Freedom Charter, Ready to Govern, and the Reconstruction and Development Program. It is further elaborated in ANC conference resolutions every 5 years. The fundamental guide, the Freedom Charter, states clearly that the people shall share in the country's wealth, setting the scene for implementation. The Reconstruction and Development Program spoke of a need to deracialize business ownership and control through focused programs of the broad-based Black economic empowerment. Informed by these policy documents, we approach economic transformation guided by the following pillars. A, creating decent employment for all South Africans. B, eliminating poverty and dealing decisively with extreme inequalities in our society. C, democratizing ownership and control of the economy by empowering the historically oppressed Africans and the working class in particular to play a leading role in decision making. D, restructuring economy so that it meets the basic needs of all South Africans and the people of the region, especially the poor. E, ensuring equitable and mutually beneficial regional development in Southern Africa, thereby fostering the progressive integration of the region. And F, limiting the negative environmental impact of our economic transformation program. Enhancing the policy framework. In 2007, at the ANC's National Conference in Polokwane, we took a landmark economic transformation resolution, which was reaffirmed in Mangaung last year. This is what it says, and I quote, "The skewed patterns of ownership and production, the special legacies of our apartheid past, and the tendencies of the economy towards inequality, dualism, and marginalization will not recede automatically as economic growth accelerates. Therefore, decisive action is required to thoroughly and urgently transform the economic patterns of the present in order to realize our vision for the future. This includes addressing the monopoly domination of our economy, which remains an obstacle to the goals of economic transformation, growth, and development," unquote. It is important, therefore, to underline that broad-based black economic empowerment is an integral part of our economic policies and economic transformation. It is part of a broader objective of promoting inclusive growth and economic development. I would like to emphasize as well that economic transformation is not just about big business deals for a few individuals in society. The policy should be consistently implemented across all parts of the country to ensure maximal impact on as many South Africans as possible. Informed by this policy background, we have since 1994 worked to create a transformed and adaptive economy that will be characterized by a high growth rate, low levels of unemployment, and the majority of South Africa's citizens participating in the mainstream economy. Along the legislative route since 1994, we can reflect on several milestones. This includes the early groundbreaking work done by, among others, the Black Management Forum, the Black Business Council, and its member organizations through the BBBEE Commission, which resulted in the BBBEE Act of 2003 and the issuing of the Codes of Good Practice by the Department of Trade and Industry in 2007. A lot of progress has been made over the years to open up opportunities and to grow the economy. In this regard, the South African economy has expanded by 83% over the past 19 years. National income per capita has increased from 27,500 in 1993 to 38,500 in 2012, an increase of 40%. Disposal income per capita of households has increased by 43%, which is just over 1.9% which is just over, which in itself is a development that we can see. The total employment has increased by more than 3.5 million since 1994. As a result of these and the other developments resulting from progressive government policies, there has been an impressive growth of the black middle class. The recent income and expenditure survey from Statistics South Africa indicates a significant increase in household consumption, which of all the factors is plausible, explained by a significant growth in income. The categories of key items of consumption, such as housing, communication, education, and transport, for an example, are all in line with a rising middle class with sustained higher income. This assertion of a growing black middle class by Stats SA is also borne out by independent researchers. The University of Cape Town's Unilever Institute of Strategic Marketing, for an example, indicates that South Africa's black middle class has more than doubled over the last 8 years, growing from 1.7 million South Africans in 2004 to an estimated 4.2 million in 2012. Let me hasten to add, however, that while we have made strides with regards to black economic empowerment and the growth of black middle class, we are still faced by unacceptable levels of poverty, inequality, and unemployment. These results from our country's history of exclusion and marginalization of the majority, and in particular, the challenges with regards to education and skills development. Income equality, in particular, still remains skewed in terms of race. You may recall that Census 2011 revealed that the income of the average white household remains 6 times that of the average African household. The average annual African household income is 60,613 rand, and of the white households stands at 365,164 rand, indicating the enormous work we must still do to bridge the gap at the levels of the poor and the working class. With regards to progress in terms of BEE transactions, according to our National Treasury, over 600 billion rand in BEE transactions have been recorded since 1995. According to Ernst & Young, since 1995, there have been more than 1,500 publicly announced BEE ownership transactions worth at least 533 billion rand. Most of the transactions involved JSC listed companies. Of concern is that black participation in the economy continues to involve share ownership schemes in the main. In addition, gross black ownership of South African assets on the Jazz Sea was equivalent to only 6.8% by 2010, and there has been minimal progress since then. More importantly, we are yet to see the growth of black industrialists, despite government's aggressive focus on boosting the manufacturing sectors. The day we see factories all over the country owned by black entrepreneurs taking advantage of our industrial policy action plan, we will be moving towards achieving the BBBEE goals. We have now also placed more emphasis on developing SMMEs. We encourage the growth of more SMMEs owned by black people, women, youth, and persons with disability in our 6 new growth path job drivers: mining, agriculture, the green economy, tourism, manufacturing, and infrastructure development. The backbone of any growing economy will depend on its SMME sector and will have huge impact on creation of jobs and skills development in our economy. The BBBEE codes will ensure that both public and private sectors procure certain percentage of goods and services from local black-owned and controlled entities. We acknowledge the sore point of late payments by government departments to SMMEs in all 3 spheres of government, which is a serious hindrance to our empowerment program. We have instituted payments to SMMEs as a special project run by the Department of Performance Monitoring and Evaluation in the Presidency and the National Treasury. Government cannot undermine its own program of promoting black economic empowerment. Government will continue to provide support as much as possible and has been doing so over the years. This summit should deliberate on what else government can do to ensure the growth of this black industrial class and also the growth of cooperatives and SMMEs that will expand empowerment in both urban and rural areas. Let me share some progress in existing government support programs. The Black Business Supplier Development Program run by the Development of Trade and Industry has since its inception in September 2010 approved 2,128 applications to the value of 797 million rand. A total of 1,213 applications were approved in the last financial year, 2012-2013, for the support of black-owned SMMEs amounted to 451.6 1.2 million rand. Out of these applications, 409 were from black women-owned SMMEs and received financial support to the value of 155.6 million rand. The National Empowerment Fund, mandated to grow black economic participation in South Africa, has approved over 500 transactions worth more than 5 billion rand to black empowered businesses across the country. Over 60% of its beneficiaries are SMMEs, and these are in virtually all sectors of the economy. To date, the NEF has supported in excess of 44,000 jobs. The cooperative sector has proven to be highly successful in empowering disadvantaged communities and countering poverty. Over 200 cooperatives were supported through a special incentive scheme, creating over 2,000 new direct and over 700 temporary job opportunities in the past year. A total of 100 new small-scale cooperatives offering around 500 new job opportunities were established, and more than 100 cooperatives were assisted to enhance their market access through local and international exhibitions. Compatriots, going forward, active, broad-based black economic empowerment will continue to be an important policy of this government, driving real and meaningful economic transformation and growth. The state will continue to intervene and promote transformation. Where the state intervenes strongly and consistently, it can turn around key industries that face external or internal threats, as has happened in our manufacturing sector. Intervention by way of targeted financial support and localized state procurement has been the revitalization of industries such as train and bus building, as well as clothing, textiles, and footwear manufacturing. This has helped to protect existing jobs and to create new ones. We are moving a step ahead to promote transformation and the passing of the BBBEE Amendment Bill by the National Assembly on the 20th June 2013 represented a huge step forward. We have reviewed BBBEE in order to align it with other key pieces of legislations, including but not limited to industrial policy, national development plan, new growth path, and national skills development strategy 3, which are all geared to support job creations, localizations, skills development, and growth. One of the obstacles has been the practice of fronting, which is criminalized in the newly adopted BBBEE Amendment Bill. Fronting is unforgivable as it distorts our empowerment picture, giving an impression of progress where there is none. It is for this reason that we will work hard to prevent and eradicate this practice. While condemning fronting, we also need to heighten our emphasis on education and skills development, especially technical and managerial skills for emerging entrepreneurs, without entrenching the stereotype that black people need perpetual training. Business training is crucial so that our emerging entrepreneurs can gain confidence and can also boldly expand beyond share ownership to become fully fledged industrialists. Compatriots, our BEE policies are interlinked with affirmative action policies aimed at opening up the management and control of the economy by black people, women, and persons with disability. The appointment of black people and women in senior management positions in the private sector has increased from less than 10% in the 1990s to over 40% today. More progress is needed, especially given that the Employment Equity Commission report each year records that white males are still very much at the higher echelons of companies. That means we need to find new methods of encouraging compliance. The Gender Equity Bill and the amendment of the Employment Equity Act are designed to improve on those loopholes. Ladies and gentlemen, let me thank the Presidential Advisory Council on BEE for the important role they have played since 2009 in monitoring and reviewing progress on the implementation of the BBBEE and for providing solid advice on amendments to the codes of good practice. We also thank all other stakeholders who have contributed to the reaffirmation of the bill, which is now before Parliament. We have made progress in the past 10 years because of collaboration amongst all sectors, working together. We will continue to do more. May your deliberations be fruitful and play a meaningful role in helping to define and inform the way forward. What I think we should avoid doing is to discuss this aspect of our lives continuously. We can't always talk about black empowerment all the time. We might become prisoners of the past. We need to go over that period and discuss about small business in South Africa only. But we can do so if we succeed to accomplish the task of empowering those who were not empowered before. We can't jump, unfortunately. But it means we must do it as quickly as possible. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure and honor to declare this summit officially open. Thank you very much.